A warm good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone, based on the time zone you are joining from. Whether you are starting your day with us or winding down in the evening or somewhere in between, we are delighted to have you with us for this LinkedIn audio event on essential power skills for an empowered career. Today's event promises to be an enriching experience as we are going to deliberate on essential power skills that are paramount for building a successful and empowered career. We are privileged to have with us four distinguished panelists, each a leader in their respective field. Firstly, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Brigadier Jain Tiwari, a recipient of the Shore Chakra, who embodies the essence of courage, resilience, and empowerment, a typical pillar for the power skills that we are going to discuss today. Brigadier Jain Tiwari's remarkable journey, marked by his unwavering dedication to the duty and exemplary leadership, serves as a beacon of inspiration for all of us here. With expertise spanning from training, coaching, mentoring, public speaking, and leadership to name few, in his demanding high-risk missions, Brigadier Tiwari brings a wealth of knowledge and insights that are invaluable in navigating the complexities of the professional landscape. Welcome you, sir. Today I was assigned a very difficult task by the organizer, not only yours, to each of our panelists' profile in 40 to 50 words. Otherwise, my life normally easy as I didn't have to answer any questions. Rather, I need to do the easiest job in today's panel discussion is to ask question to you all. But like compiling all your journey in 40 words was really difficult for me. And I request you, when you will be taking those questions, briefly talk about you and your work also. Joining us next is Lieutenant Colonel Tyagveer Raghava, a life strategist and mentor who is on a mission to transform millions of lives through his invaluable insights and experience. As a self-made professional, Lieutenant Colonel Tyagveer Raghava was weathered the storm of success and failure together and emerged as a stronger and wiser, as always. Through his mentorship and guidance, he continued to impact countless individuals, helping them navigate the complexities of their careers and unlock their full potentials. One of the tasks that today we are going to do, we are going to talk how individuals and organizations can achieve peak performance, and Lieutenant Colonel Tyagveer Raghava's insights are going to be a valued assets in our deliberations. Welcome to this panel, sir.
Thank you.
We are also privileged to have with us Dr. H. Hattab, who brings with him a wealth of knowledge and experience that is truly unmatched. In his dynamic career, marked by his remarkable journey from academia to the corporate world, he served as a testament to the versatility and expertise. Starting as an university president, he dedicated himself to nurturing in young minds and future leaders, instilling in them values of mentorship, collaborations, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. While transitioning seamlessly into his role as a CEO, Dr. Hattab's focus shifted to GRC and ESG technologies. As a staunch advocate for responsible business conduct, Dr. Hattab's story is one of continued evolution and unwavering dedication to making a meaningful impact in governance, risk management, compliance, and sustainability. Welcome to the panel, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Last but not least, a heartfelt welcome to Kitty Ueli, whose vast experience in career coaching and mentorship is definitely going to provide us a lot of practical guidance. With a wealth of experience and a passion for empowering individuals within large organizations, Kitty is a beacon of inspiration in the field of professional development. With her unique initiative such as dinner events, video conversation, and experimental co-authoring, she cultivates an environment where individuals are encouraged to lead from wherever they are. By reaffirming situations in empowering terms and harnessing the power of discretionary efforts, Kitty empowers her colleague to transform boundaries and achieve collective success. We are going to get an essence of it when she will deliberate with us on this important topic of power skills. Welcome to the panel, Kitty.
Thank you very much.
So, as I am done with my difficult job to to pose before you this illustrious career of these individuals, let's together encourage each one of us so that we should engage in an active discussion, and like we can pose our queries to this illustrious panel so that we all can get benefit from the process. So, without further ado, let us begin these enriching discussions and embark on a journey towards personal and professional growth. So, to begin with, I would like to take each one of your voice on an important topics which talks about not only the power skills, how we can use those power skills to empower our career. So to my first questions to all the panelists would be like, when everyone talks about in this dynamic and competitive workplace, processing a diverse set of skills beyond our core competencies is always a crucial, because like our technical and the core expertise although help us, but they have their own limitations too. So if I need to be like a pose questions before you, that how you all see this statement that we need to go beyond our core competency or core skill. How do you see these statements when you look at your own career journey, that how important this statement is? And like if I need to be more specific with these questions, I would like to know from each one of you, of course within specific examples, that in your own experience, whether a particular power skill played a crucial role when you think back your own career journey. And let's begin with Brigadier Tiwari.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rajdeep. I hope I am audible properly, not too
Yes, sir,
loud or
you are very,
okay.
very,
Yeah,
very much audible.
yeah, okay. And good evening to, good morning, good afternoon to my co-panelist, Colonel Tyagbir, Miss Kitty, and Dr. Rez. It's wonderful to be sharing platform with you all. Uh, well, let me begin with saying that I think my life or everyone's life is a very dynamic process. We all grow up, and in that process, uh, we all get shaped by everyday events which taking place in our lives. And I would like to make a mention here that I have been into combat leadership roles of Indian Army for almost 4 decades. But before that, almost to the tune of 19-20 years, it was at home, school, college. And after army career, for last 5 years, I have been into the domain of coaching, mentorship, all these domains. People ask me one question, especially in coaching domain. And the question generally people ask me that you have been in a combat leading role and in army, they always think that probably it is an organization where you give orders and people follow it. And now you are on to the listening side of coaching. How easy or difficult it is. And I only explain them that, you see, the listening part is very, very inherent part and parcel of military leadership. I being from Gorkha Rifles from Indian Army, and when I joined my unit, one of my senior officers, he called me and briefed me, and there was a line which he had mentioned, that if you wish to lead these men, you need to exist in his belly. I was probably 20 and a half years of age, and maybe that I would not have gathered to understand, to live or exist in the belly of your soldier to lead him. But how profound it was. He only meant to say whether a soldier feels that he is hungry or not, but you as a leader must know whether he will never come back to you to say that I am tired, I am not wanting, I am hungry, or whatever it is, I am wanting to go on leave. He will always be ever ready. But you as a leader must smell, sense that. And that is the listening part it went on. And what I wanted to say, that we all, I think, remain part of these soft skills or that power skills. I think it's an integral part of we all human beings. I take it like that. And I have been associated with my own village, where village means that countryside, which I am in touch with even today. And the people, the way customs, traditions, value systems, or the culture, it had a very major effect on me. The nature surrounding my countryside had a very major effect, I think. And then I joined Indian Army. Indian Army, when I joined, I think the skills or the traits which I had imbibed during the process of my life, they were very, very useful to me. And I'm sure it is actually with everyone. It is only that what prioritizes you and what you give importance to. When I joined Army, probably it actually manifested me in working out and learning so-called technical trades of being a soldier. Of course, being esprit de corps and discipline, timeliness, all these issues were very important. And of course, I grew it. So the life had shaped around all these skills, and they are very, very important skills of, maybe that in Army, one was the listening, which I mentioned was very important. Empathy was another thing as a leader, which I felt that you need to understand as to what the others are meaning to it. And a very important issue which I always dwell was the mindfulness. Now, when I came out of the Army, I started thinking, and when I read about this mindfulness, and I used to always think as to why I acted or behaved in the manner what I did while in Army. And when I came across this mindfulness, this is actually on top of VUCA, that is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. A soldier works VUCA under his feet. And that is the comfort level which we enjoy as soldiers. I think we operate when everything fails, an army is called in. And that is a time you need to be totally at peace. I call it peacefulness at war. You have to be absolutely focused in that moment. So I will not take much time. I would like to, since Rajdeep, you asked for giving an personal example, which I think that incidents where the system thought that I was appropriate to be awarded with Shaurya Chakra. Shaurya Chakra is a third highest gallantry award, which is given by the President of India. And this was basically for a successful mission which was led. And this was, I think, in 1996. I was almost 28 years ago. I was must be at the age of 34, 35 years. And I was leading a mission. It was on top of a mountain in a jungle-clad, very thickly wooded country. And when we searched, after reaching throughout the night on top of the mountain, early morning we searched about the group of militants which had infiltrated. We found that we could not find anything. So we thought that, well, either they have slipped away or we are not at the right location, because jungle and the mountainous area is it's not so easy to pinpoint a place. Now, after carrying on the search, I had to take a call to, that vessel. I am perfectly fine. And I had to take a call, and I decided that should we call it off and now roll down? But then quickly I said, no, let me take one more chance. And then I divided my teams into some different manner, and we carried out a different search. And this time we came face to face with the group of militants. And of course, the encounter commenced. And so I'm not wanting to go into those delays. Encounters are very specific. It's not that, people keep firing. It is a very short span of fire, maybe few seconds and all. And then there's a quietness. And then again, we are closing on to everyone. It's a very closed battle. And that is where you as a leader have to move in. Anyway, so we had a successful mission there, and I think that operation went on wonderfully well, in which I was quite badly wounded also. Now, the issue was that what I wanted to bring out, the mindfulness, what I mentioned, is very, very important. Face it. You have to be absolutely at peaceful, focused at that particular moment in the work, what you are doing it. And in that amount of chaos, crisis, vulnerability, complexity, volatility, you can name anything. It is at the pinnacle, but you need to maintain your peacefulness to be able to think. You have to continuously generate options as to what next and what next. You cannot fall back to the computer on some models. It has to be embodied in you. That action immediately comes up, and you do not have to speak. You cannot actually shout because others are also listening. Probably your body language tells you the other soldiers, other team members to act. So it's a beautiful combination. The issue comes up that, it is a military character which gets developed. And people who are listening to it, they should not get overawed by military. I do not wish to make that point. Point is that, it's a character which gets built up over a period of time. And service before self, mission is important. I think this is a very important part of everyone's life, whether he's a military person, whether he's a school person, whether he's in a corporate, everywhere. I think when you are aligned with your value to the organization we are working, it is service before self. Your mission becomes very important. It becomes your character towards doing that work. Second is that, critical thinking or innovativeness must exist. That liveliness, you must be passionate to generate options. And this activity demonstrates basically into the combat roles where we lead. You have to take an action because it's a very, very close quarter battle. Decision making comes up there. Peacefulness and war, I think in life, getting back to the peacefulness, controlling your breathing is very important. And then only probably, this is my personal experience, that I think for us in the combat role, it's utmost important to calm down, to be at peace, to fight that war. And of course, high standard of communication, non-verbal communication, the high code of conduct or ethical code of conduct. So these are the issues which I think it boils down. My only take is that I think we all have it in the process of our life. Life is very dynamic, and so all are we. We all are. We need to only observe and feel it, that yes, I have this, and this is the mission. And whichever area which we are going, that becomes, of course, the technicality, what I add on to this. So thanks a lot. I thought that to begin with, let me put it across like this, Rajdeep. Thanks a lot for my sake.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks for taking us this transformative journey where we got a glimpse of not only the leadership, the empathy, and of course, the courage was all across the deliberations. So, with that, let me turn to Dr. Ace with the same questions. How, when you look back at your own career, how do you foresee? Of course, you have your own expertise, but how do you see all other power skills plays a crucial role? And take those examples, and share
Thank
with
you.
our audience.
Thank you, Radib, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone. Graduating from engineering college, because I studied computer engineering, we used to graduate as very strong in the hard skills, let me say technical skills. But in the same time, the engineering school did not give enough, focus on the soft skills, including the leadership and communication skills and so on. So in the first job, I was facing difficulties, how to solve conflicts, how to communicate, and how to make reports. But and that make many challenges and maybe mistakes for me at the beginning of the career. And by time, I tried to educate myself and learn how to listen to the people and how to choose like a mentor for me in order to enhance and to fill this gap with lack of the soft skills and leadership. However, in many places that I made mistakes, I was fortunate that the good technical skills compensate these weaknesses. And wherever I go, I try to listen and to fill the gap, because I felt it that I have a problem in these soft skills. And what happened, because I felt that I focus on filling and getting the training on and coaching in these skills, and I built my own style for leadership. I focus on the quietness, calmness during the work, and also I was focusing on during the meetings. I keep listening, and I was the last one who proposed ideas and solutions for the problems. And let me say, maybe in the mid-career, in the mid of my career path, people discover these skills of proposing a very fruitful and effective solution for many problems in the organizations. And during, let me say, after 10 years in my in any workplace that I join, I often find myself nominated for a leadership role within the first few months. For example, when I finished my PhD, I was nominated to be the chair of the computer science department. I was not feeling comfortable because many professors who are, more experienced than me, but the department nominated me to be a chair, and I was motivated to have such roles, meaning it will motivate me to work hard day and night and do all the job that is required. And this has happened not only in the academia, but also in the industry. When I joined as programmers, I used to lead the team in the first few months. And then, through the years, being a chair of a department and then a dean of the engineering schools. And then in the last 10 years, I became the president of one universities in Dubai. And this question has been asked to me before, and how you manage and why people they like the style of your leadership. And I used to say that while surfing, I don't try to fight the waves. Instead, I lean with them and I solve all the problems, and so all the arguments of the problem will be solved. Maybe what happened that I used to say also, I am not that intelligent or smart guy, but I compensate this with hard working. And luckily that I am an IT guy, and I used to get the maximum of the IT, and now automation, and now I power all the tasks with AI. So this helped me also to be more efficient than the maybe peers of my leaders or my team. I hope that I summarize whatever can reflect your question for this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this honest, admission and finding and balance between your core competencies and the developed power skills. Through your on-the-job training, I must say, like you already admitted, like you learned and developed all those things being on the job. So I hope our audience will get, uh, the the tips from the horse's mouth, like who achieved all those things, and how he managed. With your honest admissions, you have given a lot of food for thoughts for to our audience. So with that, let me turn to Kitty. So if you can share your wisdom of going through, finding and balance between your core competencies and the so-called power skill and then soft skills.
Thank you. And hi, everybody. This has been just so interesting and inspiring to hear these two stories. I was thinking about how to put this. I think that everything that the Brigadier and Dr. Ez have said about listening, staying calm, so self-management, and really applying your skills to the situation and then speaking, not the other way around, are really useful. What emerged in my career, and I've worked in numerous parts of the United States. I think I was a higher education administrator, so I would have worked for a Dr. Ez at a university. And then eventually I went to work for the U.S. government in federal student aid, which is the unit that finances college students across the country. And I didn't realize until I moved to Washington, D.C. to work on a project and actually be the project manager, although I didn't realize it. That's what it would mean immediately. I got to a point where what we were trying to do was get data from all of the different student aid systems. So none of the systems were integrated. So if you had Pell Grants, you had a Pell Grant system. We won't even get into student loans, but each fund had its own dedicated system. And so the challenge when I arrived was to meet all of the people who ran the systems and ask them for a year's worth of data, so big data extracts, so that I could give them to the risk management contractor that was going to put it all together and help us make a risk scoring model to help us figure out which schools, which universities and colleges needed assistance because they weren't managing the funds correctly. And the problem was we couldn't tell. There were, 10,000 schools and 300 people trying to do reviews of those schools' administrative capabilities. So we needed this system. The thing was, all of those people were in their own offices, in their own silos. They weren't concerned with the bigger picture. They were concerned with managing those systems. And in many cases, or I guess in all cases, they weren't concerned with what the data meant. They were just concerned with faithfully and carefully administrating the systems. And this was at a time when the whole world was transitioning from paper processes to electronic processes via information technology. So there was a lot of moving parts. And when I really realized kind of what skill was going to be paramount for me was when I had to introduce the accounting group, which knew all of the Pell Grant data and programs, and the systems group, which collected and stored the data coming in from the universities. And it was astonishing to me to realize that these two groups had never met. They didn't think they needed to. Nothing had ever made them think that. And we met and we solved our problem in 10 minutes, and the project continued to a successful conclusion the next year. What I realized was that a skill for me was going to be what I now call boundary spanning. And that is talking across those silos, talking to lots of people who don't talk to each other, and not staying in my silo and being a good employee, and putting my head down and doing my work. So, and if it sounds like networking, it is a little. The difference is, and they're both important skills, the difference is that when you're boundary spanning, you're doing it for a mission-focused purpose. So you're doing it to make the mission, your part of the mission, move further. Because there are so many things that are bigger. They cross silos. They're too big. We can't solve them by ourselves. And I believe the world is more and more moving in that direction. So if we learn how to do this, and it involves operating outside of our comfort zone sometimes, which is why the self-management through breathing and mindfulness and the listening and bringing one's technical skills to problems, it's why all those things are so important. So for me, because Rajdeep, I don't want to run on forever, but for me, very much the power skill that continues to develop in my work is boundary spanning.
Yeah, thanks, Kitty, for putting a lot of power to those intro. But I believe whom you come across in your career, you not only powered them up, you make them talkative too. I believe, but talking for the right reasons. Thanks for introducing this whole new skills to us. We started with a story of courage. We would now like to turn back to the another courageous person who not only showed courage during his career when he was with Indian Army, he took another courageous decision when he decided post his retirement that he is going to touch million life with his experience and expertise. Sir, if you can enlighten us on your career and how you use those power skills, during your career journey.
Thank you, Dr. Azdeep, and good evening to everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are. And especially, I recall my association with Brigadier Jayant. So thank you, sir, talking to you now.
Yeah, pleasure here. Yes, certainly.
Dr. Azdeep, in today's scenario, Dr. Azdeep, first of all, am I audible comfortably?
Yes, sir, very much loud and clear.
Okay. So, the topic which you have chosen, essential power skills for an empowered career, is a wonderful topic in today's scenario because, the skills, there are two kinds of skills. One is the functional skills, which can be easily replaced by the technology. And another are the power skill, you call it, or the vital skills, which cannot be replaced by the technology or even sometimes other human. The skill which you have developed and which cannot be replaced by anyone, that is the power skill or the vital skill. So what are those skills basically? Those skills are basically you're influencing others, making others to take your ideas. That includes your communication skills, public speaking, negotiations. If I talk in terms of, this is in the military parlance, which is very much applicable in the civil environment. But if I talk in the corporate world, then the sales as a serving, negotiations, high ticket closing, this in the corporate environment. So these are all the vital skills. Now, how I got to learn these skills in a hard way throughout my life. Let me share something of my earlier days when I was preparing for getting into the armed forces. I missed my this NDA exam twice. I couldn't make it. Then the family member said, parents said that, okay, you try for engineering. And that is also in the first attempt, though I was a bright student at that level, and I missed that in the first attempt. And my principal of that college in 12th class, whose son was also studying with me, and I did very well. I topped the college and everything. But I couldn't make it in the first attempt. And this was after my principal advised me to go that college depending upon the PCM, and you will certainly get it. You know what had happened is, since I couldn't make it, I didn't even go back and give feedback to my principal that, sir, I have could not make it. Only because of one reason. Now I can analyze that. Log kya kahenge? What people will say. And that was the biggest fear everybody has. And I was one of them. That log kya kahenge? What people will say. So you hide those emotions and feeling once you get failed in something. And when I met after that summer vacation, my principal again, he called me and he said, why didn't you come back to me and didn't tell me that you have failed or you could not make it? Whatever was the reason, interview was good, everything was good, but there was something which I could not clarify to the interview board and they could not find me selected. That was the time I learned one thing, that come what may, you should always go back and give feedback. And you should not leave anything till the time there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And finally, I did complete my engineering as well as I was trying for NDA. I could not make it through the NDA, but I did join Indian Army as a engineering graduate, technical graduate. Back of mind was there. And I continued serving for around 23 years plus in the Indian Army. So I will share here two incidents, one from army and another from civil, that how your power skills like influence, negotiations, or convincing, or your resilience can help you grow in your life. This is around 1998. I was serving in the desert somewhere near Suratgarh, Rajasthan. It was heat, summer, around 50 degree plus temperature. And there was a communication link from Batinda, which is in the Punjab, and then in Rajasthan, which is Bikaner. And that communication link, entire chain, I was supposed to be managing that or monitoring that, because I was the in charge for that entire communication chain. So one fine day when I was visiting one of the communication detachment, I find the moment I reached there, because of that they were offloading the fuel, and somebody in the exuberance came with that kerosene lantern close to that vehicle where they were offloading, and because of the summer and there were fumes in the environment, it caught fire. And when it got, the entire vehicle caught fire, everyone jumped out of the vehicle and they started running away. Now you can imagine my plight. I am supposed to be responsible. I was watching this and I was just 10 feet away. Another vehicle of communication was another 10 feet, so it's like a triangle. And the vehicle which was carrying the fuel and getting offloaded, another 10 meters. It is something like that. Now, everybody started running. My immediate reaction was I ran toward the vehicle which was burning. Since it was a desert and there was a lot of sand all around, I started throwing the sand over that fire, which was burning vehicle, and started shouting to the people who had run away that please come back and throw sand. And this happened within a fraction of, say, 45 seconds, that everybody came and they started throwing sand on that, and we extinguished that fire. So the day was saved. Otherwise, I would have been court-martialed because of lack of leadership, or you can say lack of supervision. So this, what I'm saying is that influencing your team, how you can bring those people to take action the way you want it and get the result. This is what happens in the great way in the Indian military, where the people are ready on a word of command to give their lives. And that is one of the skill. Influencing others with your ideas, with your actions, is one of the most powerful power skill. Even in the civil environment, the corporate world, those who are the highest paid people, they are the influencers or they are the thinkers. So let me just now tell that what is leader, which is we are taught right from the Indian Military Academy. And the word lead itself carries that meaning. If I can repeat that motto of our Indian Military Academy, the essence is that it is the nation which comes first, thereafter it is the man whom you command, and in the end it is your welfare which comes in the last. So the leader is the one who listen first. Brigadier Jayant has brought out this beautifully, that listening is a very important skill of a leader. Then letter A in the lead is you accept the views of others. Then E, the letter is you empower and energize the people you command. You have to empower them. It's not that you only take a decision. It's that in case of, if your people under you have to take a decision, you have to empower them. You have to make them of that level. They can also take decision in case of contingencies. If what, when you are going some raid or some operation and you are knocked out, then the person under you should be able to take a decision. So that is what you have to empower it. And finally, the last letter D is that you have to take a decision so that you meet your vision or the purpose of your life. Whatever your vision or mission or goal is there, you have to take those decisions which you can meet those purposes. Now the point comes, how do we achieve all these things? So let me just again tell you, after 24 years, when I quit Indian Army, took a premature retirement and joined the corporate world. I worked for around 13 years in the corporate. There I saw that a lot of people, especially the younger lot in the mid-career professional in the age group of 30 to say 45 or 50, they are 9 to 5, they are just working like anything, but they are unmindful of their health, unmindful of their relationship, and unmindful even what is happening all around except the job. In the bargain, what happens is they are the victim of bad health, they are victim of bad relationship, and they don't know how to get out of that, because the responsibility which they are carrying during that period of time between 30 to 50, they are not able to take decisions. Even if they are not happy at the current position, they don't take decisions because they are afraid, they have a fears. And there are 4 basic fundamental reasons why they are unhappy at job, workplace, or they are not able to live their life the way it should be. That first thing which is very important is the lack of clarity. They don't know what they want to do. They don't have any clarity. Second thing is very important thing, that they lack courage. Why they lack courage? Even if they are not happy, they are not achieving the way the things should happen, then they don't have a courage to leave it that place and take a risk in the life, which is very important. Taking risk in the life. Unless you take a risk in the life, you cannot grow. Then another thing is the fear. They are the victim of multiple fears. Fears of failure, fear of judgment, fear of unknown, fear of failure, fear of what people log kya kahenge, people will say. Because of these important parameters, and these are basically the success blockers. From the unsuccessful to being successful, you have to overcome. You have to have a clarity, you have to have a courage, you have to have a fearless mindset, and then finally, not the least, that is, you have to have a mentor. So by seeing this situation, I came to this, when you asked me this question, how do I came to this decision to getting into the mentorship and helping others. Then I worked on my program, which I call it a how to become fearless and super confident to win life like a warrior. And the word warrior is not that everyone has to put on uniform and take a weapon and go to the battlefield and fight the enemy. No, that is not required. Everyone, wherever you are, could be a warrior. And that warrior means W is winning mindset. You have to have a mindset which is of a winner. Never say die, never say give up. Then letter A in the warrior is you should have attitude of gratitude. Means whatever you are today is because of someone, because of your parent, because of your teacher, because of your mentor, because of friends and family. And if you have that attitude of gratitude, yes, you will grow. The next letter in the warrior is the R. You must remove clutter from your life. If you want a really happy life, you want a really empowered life, you want to really have a something which is a successful life, then you should remove clutter. And that clutter is mental clutter, physical clutter, digital clutter. There's a lot of chaos right now because of the digital gadgets. Emotional clutter. And another letter R in this warrior word, after having done this WAR, the fourth letter R is that you reinvent yourself. Once you have achieved the first 3 letters, you are a version 2 of yourself. And the another letter I is that you become someone that who can inspire others or influence others. These are the guiding framework. If you follow this, I am sure your life will be definitely beautiful. Then the O is become someone, overcome your fears and procrastination. We don't achieve things because we keep procrastinating. We keep procrastinating the thing which we want to do. And that is where the result doesn't come. And finally, at the end, if you have achieved these six stages of the warrior, then the last letter R is you reap the rewards of your life. So what I mean to say is that be someone, the warrior of your life, whether you are in the corporate, whether you are a businessman, or whether you are in the armed forces, anywhere you are, become a warrior, and I'm sure your life will be beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. While all our panelists are enriching us with their career story, career journey, and the power skills that they use, I must admit that I should also take liberty and add one power skill in the bucket list, and it is the art of storytelling. Believe me, my dear friends, like even I never realized, like we have not completed the first round and we already in the 53 minutes of our deliberation. And this is all because of each of these panelists possess the art of the storytelling, the way they are articulating. We never realized that, like we already crossed 53 minutes of our deliberations. So with that, let me turn to this time to Dr. Reyes and Kitty with queries from our audience, basically, because in the preparation to these events we float one Google form, so that our I know like many of our participants are also tempted to be part of the deliberations. My request will be, please wait for a minute. Let me take one of our LinkedIn audio questions to Dr. Reyes and Kitty. Like Dr. Reyes and Kitty, if you could share your wisdom on the power skill of lifelong learning, why it is so important, and again, my request would be, please take some real life example from your career journey to highlight this aspect. Let me start with Dr. Reyes.
Yeah, thank you. You see, lifelong learning is very important as long as we are on the career path, because especially imagine that the last 10 years, maybe the knowledge of the human being has been tripled than the thousands of years. And this unfortunately make, let me say, overhead or overloaded information, and that the leaders should be up to date in all these new technology and the new aspects and the way that we are doing business, or even whatever we are doing in the daily administrative work. For me, if you are asking about my personal, what I am doing now, you see, at least 30% of my time is I am reading and getting training, either in person or virtual training. And luckily now all these academies and all the free courses are available, even from the top 100 universities like Harvard and Stanford. And I used to put a schedule in every month in order to take at least 2 courses. I found myself lately that I would like to diversify my knowledge, and even I took some courses from Harvard, like for example in the philosophy, ancient philosophy from China, and taking some courses related to the psychology, and some courses, of course, with the typical courses of leadership and so on. So what I would like to say, that as long as we are on the career, we never stop, and we have to keep the lifelong learning and gain the knowledge in all aspects. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Kitty, if you can enlighten us on these aspects.
Well, actually, I think it's important to learn continually until you die, and the way, and I think that's because we're citizens of a very big world, things are changing very rapidly, and we ought to know what's going on. A personal example, and so I have always been very big on environmental scanning, which is one of the reasons I talk to a lot of people, because everybody knows different things. And I try to take a top line, an overview of what's happening in AI and various technological developments as well. What I found I retired 10 years ago, and what I have found in the last 10 years is that my influence has exploded. It's probably quadrupled, and I don't that I attribute to continuing to talk to everyone, to connect people with each other, to run programs, to run projects. On a very personal level, what I have been doing since the pandemic started was I realized I was getting older and weaker. And I also realized that since I live by myself, I was going to have a very hard time getting through the pandemic when social distancing began. So when the YMCA reopened its gym partially, I went over there. They wouldn't let you in the gym yet, but there was a weightlifting class on the sidewalk outside the gym. People were in masks. They were 6 feet apart. They were lifting weights and doing core exercises, push-ups and the like. So it was very uncomfortable, but I stayed with it. Now, 4 years later, although I'm in my early 70s, just to be very frank about this, I have the muscle tone and the bone density of a much younger person. And it's a great deal of it is owed to that weightlifting. And I have to tell you, and there's one person on this call at least who knows me, that I was not fit. I was staring at a computer, 8-10 hours a day for years when I wasn't in meetings or having lunches or dinners with people. And so this is astonishing for people to hear that I've been lifting weights, and I finally realize why physical culture was important, etc. I think better. I'm happier. And so all those things that the brigadier and the lieutenant colonel learned in or knew because of the military and boot camps and whatnot, I've been learning in retirement. And when you think that we are all going to live longer than was the case 50 years ago, it means that I'm going to probably be able to enjoy that and have the influence and have many more conversations. And so I think it's not really important what you learn as the fact that you are always learning, because we each need to find what are the things, if we look inward, what are the things we most need to know right now? What would help us? And what are the things what path are we on? What skills and capabilities would help us get there in the future? And are we willing to put in the work daily, weekly to get there?
Thank you, Kitty, for taking that lifelong learning aspects of the power skills. Although time, we are taking the time that we schedule for. But and in between some of our participants also wants to pitch in. But like we should, I believe, like that was the questions even when we posed that for a poll. That was the most talked about questions in our poll also. And I can't leave my temptations to ask that questions, or rather I should take the advantage of being Brigadier Tiwari and Lieutenant Colonel Tyagir with us. We should take the temptations, and we should ask that part of the questions, sir. This is the most polled out questions in our when we posted in LinkedIn. Most of our audience has polled for these questions. They want to know about the leadership aspects of those individuals who are not in a position of formal leadership. So what do you suggest for them? Like they are not in a position of a formal leadership, but they are kind of, aspiring leader in the organizations. So what skills they should hone or develop, so when they feel like they are going to achieve those roles, so that they will be prepared. Uh, Let us start with Brigadier Tiwari on these aspects.
Yeah, certainly. It's wonderful, of course, a theme. And firstly, if I may take little liberty, Miss Kitty, without before you could tell your age, and you, of course, came out with that statement that your bone density and even your looks is, I think, you look much more younger than what we are looking. So the credit goes to you. I think you're in a very absolutely great shape. So, okay. Secondly,
Thank you.
secondly, I would like to bring it out before I come to the question per se. You see, we are five people here from five different corners, and three, of course, from India, but two are from different domains, so-called different cultures. But we are all discussing a common point, common theme. There is so much of, you know, togetherness. There is so much of similarity, and you see the basic, whether we call it traits or skills, there is something very commonality which exists between the human beings any across globe, wherever we are. We may have a little different, maybe accent, maybe otherwise even culturally there is lots of similarity. The value systems are reasonably similar. So I wanted to put it across that there is so much of similarity. We keep talking, yes, diversity is there, but there is so much of, today of course we are talking DEIs. There is a lot of similarity, inclusivity exists. And from here, I would like to take on, Rajdeep, your question that how leadership, people who are not in that position. This is the question, pardon me for saying, it sounds little funny to me. Why? When I go and deliver talks and people ask me similar type of question, I only tell them one thing. I say that almost for 4 decades, while being in army in so-called combat leadership roles, there we never talked about leadership, to be very precise. And the amount of reading and listening and talking which I have done on leadership after my retirement, coming into the corporate domain or the civil domain, I said people are overawed by this word leadership. So anyway, I do not want to, this is my personal feeling and why I want to make this statement, and for everyone to get inspired, enlightened, empowered to hear this. I was also a very normal school or college going boy. And then I go and join, I clear the competition, and like every cadet, we pass out and we become officers. And suddenly, one fine day, you become an officer, you are leading men. What is the change which has come into that? And it is not that we are there at the leadership position or not there. It is that you assume. What I want to bring it out, that I always say that we all are leaders. We all have the qualities of leaders. The basic, like today we are discussing on the power skills. Which quality, if I ask anyone, which quality as a human being you must have, or your parents desired you to have it, I think we all will list out similar qualities or similar characteristics or similar traits or the similar skills, what we are supposed to have it. Now, they are the basic essentials of leadership is not one something, an item which is produced. It is contextual. In that context, how you take a decision, action, whether you are leading some men, you are guiding them, which we do in day-to-day life. So my point is that what should we do? I think we need to carry out our self-assessment. You see, in our earlier times, for taking little liberty by the other two speakers, Kitty and Dr. S, I think practices must be similar everywhere. Like earlier, people used to say that get up in the morning, have a little wash, uh, do little small prayers and all, go for little physical exercises, think good, be in good company of good people, sleep early, clean yourself. Before bed, you go and do little meditation, little prayers and all. Now, these are very old styles, but they are so alive today also. What I'm trying to say, it is basically carrying out your self-awareness. We have, of course, coined great words which assist us. We need to understand as to what are the qualities which are required for this. And I should remain as a good human being. I should remain a human being. That's very important. And I suppose all these power skills exist if you are a human being. And they have to take a decision. They have to be empathetic. They have to be self-aware. Self-aware is a very, very great quality. You have to respect everyone. You have to be non-judgmental. Our entire life or our majority of the statements or worries are because we are judging, subconsciously or unconsciously we are judging people. So my point is that we should not think whether I am in leadership role or not. If you are moving, I'll give you a small example. I was a young officer, maybe I think 2-3 years of service, and I was on leave in my village. And I had taken my mobile, I had gone to the town, and the town to meet someone of my relative. He had gone to a district hospital in the emergency. And when I came back, my mother said that so-and-so has gone, he's not well. So I took my mobile and I drove there. The moment I reached the hospital emergency, I saw in that portico, there was lots of rush. And this man was not there, there was someone else. And rickshaw, there was a couple, elderly couple was sitting, and they were holding a young man almost. And that young man was standing, and that the feet of that young man was in pool of blood. Now, there must have been at least 50 or 70 people seeing this, but no one actually assisting this elderly couple to pull that man from the rickshaw and take him to the emergency bed or something. I put my motorcycle there, and it appeared so funny to me. I said, what nonsense. I literally shouted, maybe because I had already been trained in army but I think it was not because of army. I think it is because of the basic skills, basic culture which existed, basic character which existed in me probably. And thank God that I got reminded today of that incident. I shouted at people. I said, get away. What are you all doing? And I told that elderly couple, just let this man fall on my body. And well, he came up on my shoulders, and he had lost a lot of blood. I took it out and I shouted for a stretcher, and I put him onto the stretcher, and then the doctors took him away. And so my point is that, of course, later on in the day I came up, this boy was stabilized. What I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to, this is just an incident. Every moment in life where we're moving on the road, even when I'm driving my vehicle, there are leadership traits which have to exist. They exist there. They get demonstrated. So I think we all need to see that. As far as the working place is concerned, if my core value systems are existing and are in order, do not worry about the leadership. You are actually into the leadership role, and you will automatically scale through. So do not worry onto that. And I'm not wanting to list out those things. Try and think about this particular aspect, what I was saying. I think this is a very one point which I always wanted to bring it out. So we all are leaders. We all have the capabilities. It is only need to understand, sense, smell as to what is needed. And if you are there at that moment, ethically take that action. So that's what I wanted to bring it out, Dr. Rajiv. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for bringing in different perspective and challenging those 5 billion resources available on Google on leadership. So I would like to turn to Lieutenant Colonel Tyagvi for his brief perspective on this, because we already, crossed our stipulated time, and since all of you are here and all of you are in some kind of entrepreneurial journey endeavors that you are doing, I would also like to take one more question on power skill and entrepreneurship. So Lieutenant Colonel Tyagir, if you would like to briefly address this leadership part.
Okay, Dr. Adip, thank you once again. And you see, the basic thing for a leader and what one must understand, especially the listeners, if I say, it is the having a highest degree of character. Now, character, I will summarize only in one line, and which is very easy to understand, and which is what is basically in our SSB process is also seen through. That what you think, what you say, and what you do on ground, if these all three things harmonize, then you are a good leader. If you think something, do something, and act some other way, then you are not a good leader. Leader is the one who takes responsibility. Leader is not for the position that I become so and so. Leader is taking how responsible you are for doing something. So I give you one very simple example from my life, and now I will narrate from the corporate experience. There was a situation when I was handling a very huge strategic project in one of my corporate company, and there was a need to take a decision from Ministry of Defense, and who was a secretary of Defense Production, Secretary DP we call it. Now somehow that project for which my company was planning to get a EOI, expression of interest, our name didn't reflect in that list of recipient for that EOI. Despite that, we have met earlier all the criteria. The teams have visited our Mumbai office, corporate office. I was in my this regional office heading that North India. So when this thing didn't materialize, that our name didn't reflect, everybody was quite cheesed off that why our name didn't come. So they deputed our head, who was a one general in the rank of general, who was supposed to be heading that, and nobody was wanting to touch a thing where somebody is failing. Everybody want to touch the thing where you get some success. So finally that account, since it belongs to me, I took that responsibility. I will go and meet that gentleman who is supposed to give the decision. I will ask him why our company name doesn't reflect in this list of UI recipient. And it was weekend. Next week, Tuesday, the presentation was supposed to be done by the multiple companies, quite a high profile companies. And Monday was the only day when it was a do and die situation. But somehow I could reach there, and IS officer don't meet unless you take advance appointment. If we write a formal letter or if we do a formal communication, thing would have not materialized. It would have taken 1 week at least for seeing the mail and then reverting back whether yes or no. But when I went physically, the first thing that that personal secretary, he said, "Sir, you don't have that appointment. How can I make you meet to the secretary?" I said, "Look, this is the situation. I have to meet him, come what may." And for 10-15 minutes, he was not convinced. But I kept on persisting. Then finally, to save his skin also, I said, "You take my visiting card just go to that secretary and tell him that so-and-so gentleman has come, he wants to meet you. If he says yes, perfect. If he says no, let me know. And at the end of the day, this guy went inside. Luck would have it, he straightway called me in. And when I went there, I just spoke to him maybe 30-40 seconds. And the IAS officers are quite understanding and well decision maker. When I told him the story, look, our company has passed all the previous, whatever the technical evaluation, financial evaluation, everything is done, but our name doesn't reflect in this. He understood the problem. And finally he said, Colonel, don't worry, we will correct it. And the very next day, in the same letter which was earlier received as a fax, they changed the name, they put a name with that sketch pen, and we got another fax and our name was included. So all other corporate sector companies were saying, how come this name got included such a short notice? So it is basically, ideas to tell is that if you take action wherever there is a problem, the biggest thing for any leader is that how to solve any problem, existing problem. And for that, you take an action. If you get defeated in the beginning only, that how can it be done? It is not possible. Then you are failure. You have to take action. And if you take action, I am sure you are a good leader and you will get the result. That's what I would like to say as far as leading is concerned. Be responsible.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So as we go before to our audience for their queries, like while going through each one of your profile, I could see you are, some kind of entrepreneurial ventures, be it your towards social responsibility or being in the original business of, like giving your services and consultancies to your clients and customer. So we'd like to know from each one of you what power skills our budding or the existing entrepreneurs should develop, hone, or work upon to excel and scale up in their business. So maybe we can start with Dr. Reyes. Dr. Reyes, you are not audible. Okay, by the time Dr. Reyes fixes his audio, Kitty, would you like to say anything like the power skills that the budding or aspiring entrepreneur should, or even the existing entrepreneur?
Sure. And I am not, I mean, you're right. All of us have their entrepreneurial sort of impulses that show up in our profiles. I think the biggest thing here for an entrepreneur is to really understand who their people are, who their team is. And this has already been discussed on this call about how you might do that. But because I think that many people are so in a rush to implement an idea and have success, that they don't think about the foundation either, and sometimes even the ethical foundation, but also, the people who work for you to realize that vision are not just anyone. They are your team. They have talents that you may not even know they possess. That's usually the case. And I think in an entrepreneurial situation, like in a startup, it could make all the difference, because the solution to some problems you face as you grow, a lot of it is right there under your nose. But you have to respect people enough. You have to listen to them. You have to find out who they are, and you have to enlist their help. And I think that's that's where a lot of startups and small ventures are failing right now.
Yeah, thank you, Kitty. Dr. Reyes, you are not audible. Jan sir, if you can share your perspective.
Yeah, certainly, Rajdeep, yes. One or two things which I would like to, of course, bring. I do not wish to bring it out specific skill name as such, but I think emotional intelligence or emotional quotient is one which by and large covers, which has a self-awareness. I generally, of late, I realize that awareness quotient has to be there. So emotional intelligence, but I would like to holistically bring out one or two issues. One is that, today, when I came out of army and started dealing with people here, we used to write USP. What is your USP? Because I had to learn a lot of new terms here. And this was something like unique selling proposition or something. I think, USP, I think, should get changed to UVP, unique value proposition. I think what values we are giving it, and it's not only for the organization, and the people who are working in the organization. They make the organization. So value proposition is only not of the product; it is that organization, the culture, and everything is included. So it is the unique selling proposition is actually the unique value proposition. Why I'm saying this? That the work must not and never supersede life. Work always must remain part of the life. Today, what I'm trying to say, and I see that, work has become so important and the life has taken a second stage. It is, I think, this is what are we actually heading to? So that is where I think this balance could be very well maintained, that the work is part of the life and life must be given that importance. It must create that value, what we are going for that. And one thing which we must understand, which nature is so beautifully tells us, even our body tells us, even our process of evolution tells us, we need to understand change, we need to accept change, we need to create change. And that's what we are. Actually, our bodies actually create change. Skin gets the same. Even the plants and the trees create change themselves and are actually designed in the life for furtherance, for excellence, for empowerment, for growth. It requires a change. And this is a phenomena where we actually get afraid. Change is a feeling where we feel that I don't know whether I'll be able to succeed. Why not? You have to be very optimistic for life, and rest everything will fall in place. Life must be treated and we must accept the change. Rest everything will fall in place. That's all I thought I must bring it out.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Reyes, you just try one more time if your audio is back.
I hope I am audible now.
Yeah, you are audible now.
Very good.
Yeah, so the question was the entrepreneurial journey and the power skills.
Yeah, in fact, I used to think of my partner, and this is my nature, to let him get the profit before me. Taking care of others more than myself, it encouraged the other to enlarge my network in investors and venture capitals, that I'm taking care. And to tell you the truth, I am feeling great happiness when I feel that my partners, my investors are getting money from what I am doing. And I used to be the last one who take care of, the profit and shares. And this helped me to gain the trust from the beginning of my startups. I started, as I said, as a software company in 2006, Z Dimension in Jordan, Amman, and taking care of my partners, we developed some software specialized, for example, I just want to mention parking management system, and which led to be spinned off another company that take care of the managing the car parkings in all types. And this company went public with the investors from Saudi Arabia, and now managing the airports of Emirates and airports of the Saudi Arabia, in addition to Jordan. I never ask about the shares, as I mentioned, and even the profit and the revenues I don't ask about. We only make a meeting every year, and we see the financial statements. I used to coach many startups from different initiatives, either in Emirates or in Jordan, in order to coach them and to how to build the business case and how to present their ideas and convert it to tangible products and services. And I just feel happy to do so. I mean, so what my recommendation is just do the job and don't care about the outcomes. The outcomes, if you do it in a proper way, for sure the outcomes will come. Nowadays, I will be frank that because I am immersed in the automation and the AI, and I know there is a gap between whatever generation, that XYZ generation, and the AI nowadays can make the exponentially profits if you use the right tool in the right place, in the right targets. So I encourage that we don't say that, we used to say a digital gap in the last 20 years, but now I would like to describe it like an AI gap between the generation, and it's very, very easy to make money for the individuals if they adopt AI-powered startups companies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing that important aspect. Create value for your stakeholders. Your value will automatically be added up. Lieutenant Colonel Tyagi, sir, like if you would like to share your perspective.
Yeah, Dr. Rajdip, once again, one thing, Rajdip, though we are talking about the power skill, let me just give one perspective about the skill, and that is, everybody is born with some talent or other, and that talent which multiplied with the effort get converted into skill. Now we are not only limited to the skill, we are at the end of the day looking for the success or achievement in life. So the talent which you have, you multiply with the effort, convert into skill. A skill once again multiplied with the effort, then you convert into the success or achievement. There is a very beautiful book on this, which we call it a grit, by Angela Duckworth. So what is very important is that effort is twice more important than the skill. The listener must understand that you have any amount of skill, but unless that put a double the effort in that, the success is far reached. So the effort is equally important with the skill. Now let's talk about that. What is most important skills to me, especially for an entrepreneur or a startup kind of things. So the first thing which I realize is that persuasion and negotiation. Negotiation is not that you only win. It's the one whom you are negotiating with, you are solving some problem for him. And it's a win-win situation for both of them. Then only you are successful. And second thing is that persuading a person not for your advantage, persuading the person to solve the problem of a person whom you are persuading. So if you have these two qualities, I'm sure your entrepreneurial journey will be very successful. Because we normally, in a normal way, what we see is a sales as a, you take a product and just sell it and get the money. That is not the way of selling. If you take the selling as a service in the sense that you are someone who understands the problem of others, which could be any complex problem of life. It could be life problem, it could be technological problem, it could be economic problem, anything. First you understand that, then solve that problem to the best advantage of a person whom you are dealing with. And if you have these skills of persuasion, negotiation, and selling, especially in the entrepreneurial journey, you are going to be highly successful. And that's what I would like to say as far as these skills which you are talking about for the for a entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you, sir, for bringing the hidden key of success, which is effort. Altogether different perspective. Moving ahead with while we all are dealing with the power skill. So with that, let me take some queries from participants. Kailash, if you can unmute yourself, and in between, I could see Dr. Rao also has raised his hand, but he's somehow. I request Dr. Rao to raise your hand again if you are around, so that I can. Yeah. Kailash, please. Kailash, you are not audible.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah,
Krishna
good
Rao.
morning and good evening to all.
Audible, Rajdeep?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the speakers devoting your time to enlighten many of the listeners and viewers. Thank you very much, and thanks Rajdeep in bringing all the fantastic people onto the platform. Just to take some quick question and as well as some suggestion also for this. My point is, I think probably for a brigade.
Dr. Krishna, your
Voice is gone here.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
Kailash. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think my question is to Brigadier. Probably you might have faced a person who is your important team member, and you may have some prejudice on his thought process or his ideology. So, in your experience, how you handle the situation?
Yeah, Dr. Rao, wonderful, I think, curious question actually. I will put it across. That yes, one is that, we generally see that especially military like an organization is very hierarchical and it is from top to down. And second is that we might have judgments onto various people across. First point is that I think this exists all across. Within our families to start with, the hierarchy exists in the family also. And second is the judgment. As far as the army is concerned, let me put it across to you. Suppose I'll give you a small example. I'm moving out in jungle on you must have heard, known that patrolling and ambush. I'm moving in a jungle with a small team, maybe 5 people or 10 people. Now, here everyone is trained and no two people are of the similar caliber, but they all have their own calibers and they all understand it. It is not that if you are fired upon, only the person who is leading that mission will be fired upon. The entire team could be touched upon, maybe at the back, anywhere. So what I'm trying to say, we deliberate that entire mission, we do the brainstorming, and everyone's idea is taken into consideration. Just to give an example, if you are hearing, I just explained the incidents on which I was conferred with that Shaurya Chakra award. During that encounter, we were already there. Encounter, the contact was established. Contact means that firefight had taken place once, and then there was a lull in the second time. And once we had entered the bushes and all, we wanted to carry out further search. and there was a dog with me, dog handler, tracker dog, and they used to smell, and that dog will take you straight to the person whose bags were there. Actually, their big rucksacks were there. Now I said that we rest of the team I deployed, and only 5 of us we entered those thick bushes. Among that 5 people, there was a dog handler, and I told the dog, I was the mission leader. I literally ordered him that get these bags smelled, because we fired, and after that militants were now opening fire. So I said, okay, get this bag smelled by the tracker dog, and so that tracker dog will take us to the militant. Now this was my almost like an order. Whereas the dog handler tells me, Saab, point is okay, and the dog will take us to the militant, but it is going to be very, very suicidal and risky. So my advice is that we will try and move through people, anyone who would have moved, they would have left the telltale marks on the grass. And should there be a situation, we will come back, because the militants are hiding in a very close country, and it might be suicidal, and very right so. And I had to take a quick decision. And here I accepted his point of view. And of course, we ended up, and there was no requirement of actually dog to be saved. So your point is perfectly correct, Dr. Rao. These things are there. Prejudices exist. I'm not saying that it does not exist, but I think we overcome when we are in a mission. Everyone is given that due, and then only you can probably succeed, because everyone is a thinking mind. And that is what I also used to tell my subordinates, and when we used to discuss that when we are in a mission, there will be no nonsense, and everyone has to keep their eyes and ears open. So I think I hope I have answered you that way with my experience on the ground. But your question was perfectly in order. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Kailash, if you can unmute.
Yeah, Rajdeep, thank you very much. Am I audible, Rajdeep?
Yeah, please be brief, and
Sure,
if any
sure.
queries,
I'm actually,
yeah.
actually, I was having one question, but I am just dropping that question in the interest of time, because it's always it's 8:40 already. So I just wanted to give my gratitude to Kitty and Dr. Ayush Hatab, because I requested them many a times to join us. So today they are with us, and Brigadier Jayant, of course, and Lieutenant Colonel Tyagveer sir. I'm very, very thankful all of you joining us today. So in the interest of time, I'll be just skipping my question, because it's already answered by Brigadier Jet. That's it from my end, Rajdeep. You can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Kailash. And my request to other participants, like if you have any queries or if you need any assistance, these gentlemen and gentlewomen are a message away. This is what I learned from them while in the preparation of this event. With
Mute.
yeah, thank you, Kailash. Uh, So, like my request to if to all the participants, if you have any queries, these gentlemen and gentlewomen are a message away. This is what my experience while dealing with them in for the preparation of this event. So, if you have any queries, and their LinkedIn profiles are also there, so they are not only a message or a call away, they are also a click away. And I would like to thank everyone for honoring us with their valued submissions, and thank you to those all participants for sure spending their Sunday evening with us. And next week we are again be back with a very important topic on climate change. Thank you.
Thank you
If
very much.
from the panelists, if any parting comments or parting remarks are there, you are welcome.
Yeah, I must thank Rajiv to you for organizing this wonderful session. And thanks, Miss Kitty, Dr. S. It was wonderful being with you all. And Colonel Tyagveer, pleasant to be here. Kailash, yes, wonderful again listening to you. And all the people who are, I can see, who are there on to listening. There are 24 people. And what Rajdeep has suggested, feel free to, there are no questions and there are no solutions. I think the moment you ask, your question is much more important than anyone giving a solution. I think that's the crux is there. I think your question will enlighten me, at least empower me through your question. So feel free to interact. If nothing is there, at least we will know each other. Thank you very much, everyone. All the best.
Thank you,
And
Dr. Rajdeep. And I would like to say one thing. I would like to add to the response to Dr. Rao, that in army, though it is hierarchical, but every level there is a leader. Every level, whether he is a Nayak or whether he is Havaldar or the junior commissioned officer or officer, because in the absence of the one up, the person is capable of taking decision and implementing and getting the results. So leadership never fails as far as the Indian Army is concerned. Despite being hierarchical, everyone is capable of taking decision at his own level and producing the result. Thank you so much, and nice interacting with you all. Thank you so much.
And thank you all very much. I just can't tell you how much I appreciated being with you, and for the people who spent their time listening. And please do connect if you want to talk more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me in this wonderful event, and hope that we keep the same in the near future. Thank you very much, Dr. Pradeep, and thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, everyone, and definitely we'll knock you for our future events. Thank you.